Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane is now requiring full-time care following his diagnosis with ALS, according to his ex-wife, actress Rebecca Gayheart. Dane publicly revealed in April that he has amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a progressive and incurable neurodegenerative disease that affects movement, speech, eating, and breathing. In a first-person essay for The Cut, Gayheart shared that Dane now has 24/7 nursing support and uses a wheelchair. She explained that securing around-the-clock care took 2 appeals and significant advocacy on her part, calling it her mission to ensure he receives the support he needs. Despite being separated since 2017, Gayheart has remained closely involved in his care, often filling in when nursing shifts go uncovered and relying on friends when she cannot. Gayheart also opened up about the emotional toll of navigating Dane's illness in the public eye, recalling a difficult moment helping him into his wheelchair during a family dinner while strangers watched and took photos. She described the experience as overwhelming but emphasized her commitment to always doing right by him. Earlier this year, Dane told Good Morning America that he has lost all function in his right arm and fears the disease may soon affect his left side. Despite the progression, the actor remains determined. He continues to advocate for ALS research, recently meeting with Congressman Eric Swalwell to support the nonprofit I Am ALS and push for $1 billion in federal research funding. Dane and Gayheart share 2 daughters, Billy, 15, and Georgia, 13. Dane says his family is his motivation to keep fighting, stating he wants to be present for every milestone and plans to fight until the last breath. Hey, lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy actor Eric Dane now requires full-time care for ALS as ex-details fight for support. The actor announced in April he had been diagnosed with ALS, the most common form of motor neuron disease. Grey's Anatomy star Eric Dane's ex has revealed the actor now requires full-time care following his ALS diagnosis. Actress Rebecca Gayheart confirmed Eric has 24/7 nurses now, detailing how she fought to ensure her former partner receives the care he needs to live with the debilitating disease. The progressive condition eventually impacts the ability to move, speak, eat, and breathe. While treatment can slow the disease's progression, there is currently no cure. Although Dane and his wife separated in September 2017, Gayheart has continued to support him. In a first-person piece written for The Cut, Gayheart said she made it her mission to ensure Dane, who now uses a wheelchair, received the full-time care he requires. After 2 appeals, Gayheart successfully secured around-the-clock nurse care for her former partner. The week is divided into 21 shifts, she explained. There are times that shifts aren't covered, so I cover them. There was a 12-hour shift recently that I could not cover. I could only do 4 hours because of all the stuff that the kids are doing. So, I had to call on 2 of Eric's friends, one of them who had never really taken care of him in that way. She also revealed one of the hardest parts about Dane's diagnosis being made public is having all eyes on them. The actress recalled a time they went out for a family dinner and she had to help Dane into his wheelchair. We went to have sushi one night, and it was the first time I had to unload the wheelchair and open it and get Eric into it on my own, Gayheart said. And oh my god, I was sweating bullets and there were people watching and taking pictures, and I was so upset because I was really struggling. Despite the challenges, Gayheart added she will always want the best for Dane and do right by him. In April, Dane first announced he was diagnosed with ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. During a Good Morning America interview with Diane Sawyer, the actor revealed he had lost function in his right arm and was concerned about weakness developing on the left side of his body. My left side is functioning, my right side has completely stopped working, he said at the time. I feel like maybe a couple more months and I won't have my left hand either. It's sobering. Dane and Gayheart have 2 daughters, Billy, 15, and Georgia, 13. Despite now requiring full-time care, Dane is determined to keep going for his family. In September, he met with California Congressman Eric Swalwell to support the American nonprofit I Am ALS and help pitch a bid to secure $1 billion in funding for ALS research over the next 3 years. I want to ring every bell, Dane said in TikTok shared at time. I have 2 daughters at home. I want to see them graduate college, get married, maybe have grandkids. You know I want to be there for all that, so I'm going to fight until the last breath on this one. The best and worst Grey's Anatomy episodes of all time. Grey's Anatomy first premiered on March 27, 2005. In honor of 20 years on the air and the series' upcoming 22nd season, The Onion looks back on some of the medical drama's best and worst episodes of all time. Best. Patrick Dempsey lists the major symptoms of strep throat. Season 2, Episode 11. To this day, there has yet to be a better or more compelling example of Patrick Dempsey listing the major symptoms of strep throat. Happy Birthday, Meredith Grey. Season 8, Episode 15. Meredith discovers the unknown object stuck in the chest of her patient is none other than Dr. Shepard, who has hidden inside for a birthday surprise. It's a Small World. Season 5, Episode 14. The chief suspects the new anesthesiologist may be a Disney adult while Owen treats a porn star with leprosy. Meredith worries she did something wrong during surgery after noticing a spleen on the floor. Yikes, hopefully nobody out there needs us. Season 7, Episode 4. In this beloved bottle episode, the whole gang gets trapped inside an MRI machine. The Annoying Doctor. Season 6, Episode 21. In this special season finale crossover episode, the good doctor himself arrives at Seattle Grace Mercy West Hospital and starts annoying everyone in sight. When Christina attempts to kill him but botches the job, Meredith must go against her better judgment and save him. Sexual Healing. Season 6, Episode 3. The hospital gets slapped with a lawsuit after a patient wakes during open heart surgery and catches all of the surgeons having sex in the storage closet. Worst. I'm Like a Bird. Season 8, Episode 1. In an attempt at crossover appeal, the entire new crop of interns is made up of the 2013 Seattle Seahawks 53-man roster. A Hard Day's Night. Season 1, Episode 1. The new surgical intern's first shift at the hospital reveals Sandra Oh is about to be trapped in this waste of a role for a decade of her life. Signs. Season 11, Episode 20. Link treats an elderly puppeteer who may be the Zodiac Killer, while Owen punches a CPR dummy. Meredith and Maggie huff nitrous oxide and play flashlight tag in the morgue. The Space U Needle. Season 9, Episode 12. The doctors pay $40 each to go to the top of the Space Needle and realize Seattle is simply not that exciting of a city to see from above. Active shooter, again. Season 20, Episode 4. Fans generally agree that the return of mass shooter Gary Clark, now as an unstoppable titanium cyborg rebuilt by rival Seattle Presbyterian Hospital, was a ratings gimmick at best. Pick one. Season 16, Episode 1, Present. Drop in on any random episode from the past 6 years, and it's a good bet it will be the worst one ever. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 confirms return of fan-favorite character. A longtime Grey's Anatomy favorite is stepping back into the series after an extended absence. With her last appearance happening several seasons ago, questions circulated about whether the character would return to the surgical drama. The actress ultimately confirmed her comeback, marking a significant moment for the show's ongoing 22nd season. Dr. Addison Montgomery returns to Grey's Anatomy in Season 22. Variety exclusively reported that Kate Walsh's Dr. Addison Montgomery will appear in an episode titled Strip That Down, scheduled to air on January 29, 2026. This marks her first appearance since Season 19, where she featured in the episode Gunpowder and Lead. Kate Walsh originally joined Grey's Anatomy in Season 1 and was a series regular through Season 3. She continued making guest appearances through Season 8 while also leading the spin-off Private Practice for 6 seasons from 2007 to 2013. She returned in a recurring capacity for Seasons 18 and 19. Since her last appearance on Grey's Anatomy, Walsh has starred in several projects including the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why, Emily in Paris, and The Umbrella Academy. In 2024, she performed in the world premiere of Jordan's at the Public Theater. Steven Pink directs Kate Walsh's upcoming film What the FCK Is My Password, which features Alexander Ludwig, Stephen Dorff, Cal Penn, and Adam Pally. ABC began airing Grey's Anatomy Season 22 on October 9, 2025. The network features the series as a cornerstone of its programming. Other dramas in the lineup include High Potential, 911, and 911, Nashville. Comedies such as Abbott Elementary and Shifting Gears also anchor the schedule. Gersh, Untitled, and Jorn Laveen Barnes represent Walsh. ABC has not released plot details for the January 29 episode. Addison Montgomery's return follows her pattern of periodic appearances since her original departure. These appearances keep her present in the show's evolving storyline. Gayheart explained while this is all new territory for everyone involved, they both showed up to support their friend. 6 recurring Grey's Anatomy plotlines that happen every season. 6 recurring Grey's Anatomy plotlines that happen every season. Grey's Anatomy premiered back in 2005, but even 2 decades later, the show continues to redefine television itself. The show follows the lives of surgical interns, residents, and attendings at Seattle Grace Hospital, later renamed Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital, as they juggle their careers and personal struggles. What started as a medical drama has quickly evolved into a cultural phenomenon, now with its diverse cast, emotional depth, and ability to use medicine to tackle heavy themes. Grey's Anatomy has never been a typical procedural that focuses on one patient after another. Instead, the show spends a lot of time building its characters and their own storylines, to the point where Ellen Pompeo's Meredith might be the main character, but she's certainly not the only one driving the narrative. Grey's Anatomy is currently in its 22nd season, which is proof that the show has found a formula that clicks with the audience. After all these years of being on air, certain storylines on the medical drama are bound to repeat. Even if the writers have perfected the art of reinventing similar situations that feel fresh, here are recurring Grey's Anatomy plot lines that happen every season. 6. Interns sleeping with attendings. This one is a Grey's Anatomy staple at this point, because if it wasn't for the interns sleeping with the attendings in Season 1, the show wouldn't even exist. Meredith Grey and Derek Shepherd's Patrick Dempsey on-and-off romance practically defined the early seasons of the show and set the stage for everything that came after. However, it feels like the pattern of interns falling for attendings, and vice versa, repeats every season. Whether it's a fresh crop of residents arriving at Gray Sloan Memorial or new attendings finding themselves romantically entangled with their subordinates, these romances constantly cross professional lines. As problematic as they are, though, there's no denying that all this drama is the heart and soul of Grey's Anatomy. The power dynamics that come into play with these intern-attending romances in Grey's Anatomy say a lot about the medical world. The interns are often eager to prove themselves in a competitive environment and earn the validation of their seniors. However, since the attendings hold all the power, these relationships can get complicated extremely fast. For example, Christina Yang, Sandra Oh, and Preston Burke, Isaiah Washington, seemed like the perfect match in the beginning, both brilliant in their surgical skills and driven by an intense passion for cardio. The ethical implications of their relationship really came to light, though, when Christina risked her entire career to cover for Burke when he developed a hand tremor. That is just one example, though, because you also have Alex Karev, Justin Chambers, and Joe, Camilla Luddington, getting involved in an equally complicated dynamic. Christina herself slept with one of her interns, Shane Ross Gaius Charles, in Grey's Anatomy Season 10, which only highlights how frequently this plotline occurs. Despite the moral questions these relationships raised, this constant push and pull between ambition and desire has become a defining element of Grey's Anatomy. 5. A mass casualty incident or a major catastrophe. Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo, being launched back by a bomb in Grey's Anatomy image via ABC. Every fan of Grey's Anatomy knows the drill. At least once a season, the surgeons at Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital have to deal with a mass casualty or a major catastrophic incident that wreaks havoc in the pit. From derailed trains to plane crashes, explosions, and even COVID-19, Grey's Anatomy has seen it all, and yet, the show continues to throw its doctors into these life-or-death situations season after season. You have to admit that these major disasters serve as way more than just plot devices, because they often force the characters to confront their personal struggles and evolve as professionals. For example, the ferry crash in Season 3 proved to be an emotional reckoning for Meredith. Similarly, the Season 8 plane crash is one of the most devastating yet defining events in Grey's Anatomy that shaped all the characters' arcs going forward. Sure, some of these plotlines are a bit too far-fetched, like that sinkhole swallowing a whole building in Season 8. However, all these narratives demonstrate just how unpredictable being a surgeon can be. 1 minute, you're navigating your own life, and the next, you have to put all that aside and focus on saving as many lives as you can. Incidents like these practically drive the show forward, forcing the characters to face their fears while making impossible decisions that can change their lives forever. What's great is how the show also sheds light on the aftermath of it all. For example, after the hospital shooting in Season 6, we see Christina questioning her ability as a surgeon after being forced to operate on Derek at gunpoint. The show might repeat this plotline every season, but the writers still managed to keep things interesting. For example, no one saw the Season 18 blood shortage crisis coming. It wasn't as crazy as a hospital fire or a bomb, but it felt just as intense. As heartbreaking as these plotlines are, though, they eventually end up becoming some of the most memorable parts of the show. 4. Messy romances. Jackson Avery, Jesse Williams, and April Kepner, Sarah Drew, in a Grey's Anatomy image via ABC. Intern attending relationships are one thing, but Grey's Anatomy has its fair share of messy romances beyond that, too. Every season, Shonda Rhimes throws in a few couples who should have never even thought of dating each other, but that's exactly what makes the show so entertaining. Most of these romances are fun to watch, even if they would make for absolutely toxic situations in real life. Two of the most baffling romances in the early seasons of Grey's involved Alex and Izzy's, Katherine Heigl, borderline illegal relationships with their patients, Ava, Elizabeth Reeser, and Denny Duquette, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. The great thing about Grey's Anatomy is how the show doesn't shy away from portraying love in all its complicated and painful glory. From Meredith and George's T.R.N.ite, unfortunate one-night stand to Owen, Kevin McKidd, and Amelia's, Katerina Scorsone, on-again, off-again dynamic in the later seasons, the romances are as integral to Grey's Anatomy as the medical breakthroughs. The writers have a way of exploring the characters' inner turmoil through these relationships, and the way the show combines the doctors' personal lives with their high-stakes careers actually feels very seamless. Let's not forget that Meredith's love triangle with Derek and his wife, Addison, Kate Walsh, was pretty much the foundation of the show. Their dynamic explored the fine line between love and guilt, all against the high-pressure world of surgery. That kind of complexity set the tone for every other romance that was to follow, to the point where every season brings a new set of messy romantic relationships for the audience to follow. 3. Medical cases that mirror characters' personal journeys. Camilla Luddington in Grey's Anatomy, image via ABC. Every season of Grey's Anatomy features a few cases that serve as metaphors for the characters' personal journeys. Of course, some of them are plot devices to move the story along and reflect what surgeons have to deal with daily. However, the show does a great job of diving deep into certain situations that serve as direct extensions of where certain characters stand emotionally. For example, in Grey's Anatomy Season 6, Teddy, Kim Raver, has a terminal patient who asks the doctor to help her die by physician-assisted suicide. Owen, of course, has a huge problem with this and even tries to interfere. Fast forward to Season 18, and Owen starts helping terminally ill veterans do the same, which shows his growth as a doctor. Similarly, in Season 5, Erica Hahn, Brooke Smith, pushed Izzy to treat the patient whose heart she had stolen for Denny. The situation forced Izzy to confront her unresolved feelings and learn how to move past the situation as a surgeon. More recently, Addison's return in Season 18, post-Derek's death, to help Meredith with a groundbreaking uterine transplant. The case serves as a way for the two characters to grieve their shared loss and put the past behind them. When the procedure is complicated by a clot, Meredith and Addison work together to clear it, which showcases their growth and mutual respect. This is exactly what makes Grey's Anatomy so different from other medical procedurals. The show is not just about medical breakthroughs and mysterious diseases. Instead, it focuses on the psychological and emotional impact they have on the doctors. This complexity and depth are missing from nearly every other medical drama out there, but Grey's Anatomy nails it every single season. 2. A miraculous recovery. Dr. Miranda Bailey, Chandra Wilson, writes notes while Eli Lloyd, Daniel Sanjata, looks over her shoulder in Grey's Anatomy image via ABC. There's no denying that some cases on Grey's Anatomy stretch the limits of reality, but things would be pretty bleak if it weren't for a few miraculous recoveries every season. The truth is that the show really builds up to these moments, which is what makes them feel earned. When you watch episode after episode of unsuccessful surgeries, sudden deaths, and terminally ill patients, you need some hope to cling to. Rashida Flowers' Chantal Maurice case in season 18 is one of the many cases where the doctors on the show were dealing with a patient who had no hope. Despite the systemic issues and a hospital-wide HVAC failure, Rashida made a full recovery, which is something not even her doctors could have predicted. Moments like these usually become highlights of the whole season that balance the overwhelming emotional weight of the show's signature heartbreak and trauma. This plotline has been part of Grey's Anatomy since the very beginning. In season 4, a patient and faith healer named Elizabeth Archer, Glenn Headley, came in for a coronary artery dissection. Despite the doctor's skepticism about her profession, she ended up performing a healing ritual on Miranda Bailey's, Chandra Wilson's son, Tuck, after a bookshelf fell on him. Elizabeth's unorthodox ways actually stabilized the toddler, and he was able to breathe on his own again. Not to mention that Meredith definitely deserves an award for miraculously surviving just about everything, from a bomb and a plane crash to a shooting, COVID-19, drowning, and the list goes on. These situations, where patients defy the odds or pull through in ways no one thought were possible, have been a constant part of the show to ground it in something that just helps you connect with the narrative on a deeper level. 1. Complicated family dynamics. Ellis Grey, Kate Burton, looking stressed and clutching Meredith's, Ellen Pompeo, hand in Grey's Anatomy image via ABC. At its heart, Grey's Anatomy is a show about humans trying to survive, whether that's against medical conditions or their own circumstances. The show begins with Meredith's complicated relationship with her mother and surgical legend, Ellis Grey, Kate Burton, who develops Alzheimer's. The central character struggles to navigate her own trauma, as well as the lack of a stable childhood, as she tries to build a life for herself. Her friends and fellow interns, Christina, Izzy, George, and Alex, become her family over time, and as we get to know each one of them, we also learn of their own familial troubles. For example, George feels like he is just not good enough for his parents, Izzy's mother is a little too emotionally dependent on her daughter, Christina saw her father die in front of her, and Alex's abusive dad comes back into the picture in season 10. Not just that, but every single character who appears on the show with numerous dysfunctional families has a backstory that explains the person they are in the present. Callie's, Sarah Ramirez, mother refuses to accept her sexuality, while her father slowly learns to support her, and Arizona's, Jessica Capshaw, relationship. Even Derek's messy relationships with all his sisters are a compelling part of the show, while Mark's, Eric Dane, journey of becoming a responsible father is one of the most emotional storylines on Grey's Anatomy. A lot of the patients' stories also reflect the same kind of bittersweet family dynamics that add depth to the narrative like no other. Every season of the show uses this plotline to reflect how we are all defined by our relationships, whether we choose to accept it or not. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.